Well, as promised, here we are. Welcome to the question and answer session for Grandpa Doss Farms with Matt, Grandma, Matt Doss Way, Grandma Doss Farms. We've got, how many questions have we got?
I think we've got 52. Oh, no, we're up to 54.
54 questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, we better get going.
Yeah. Well, our goal here was to spend some time with folks on Christmas Day, Christmas afternoon, and it may take half hour, it may take an hour. If you watch it, fine. If you're busy with family and all that, that's fine too. You can watch it. Just make sure you watch it. That's all I'm saying.
They're home alone. If they get tired of us and don't want to spend time with us, they may just shut us off. They may go, you know what, I'd rather spend time home alone.
Yeah,
That's a great movie.
You know what? They ought to make a movie out of that.
I know, right?
And you know what? In fact, make 2.
Yeah,
I think,
not 3.
Should we ask some questions?
Yeah.
All right. Well, here we go.
All right. I think this is directed at you, Grandpa. If Chad had not been called to use the land over here beside us, what would we have been doing upon retirement? And would it have been, other than caring for a farm, and would it have included anything that had to do with videos?
No, I don't think we would have done videos and YouTube if Chad hadn't got us involved. If he'd have moved and hadn't brought it up, I don't think I wouldn't have went out and got my own animals. That was not our intent. Our intent was to finish our jobs out, retire, and then, Grandma and I, we're not world travelers, cruisers, flyers. We do a lot of little short trips, Florida once a year. So that was what we've done. We've just kind of been just like everybody else does, retire and stay busy. And, I love to work outside and that kind of thing. So, but no, bottom line is, this changed our lives big time. This is not where we were planning on going. Am I right?
Yep.
Is that you concur?
This one kind of goes along with it. When you get some free time, what do you like to do?
Free time.
Well, actually, it says when you get time away.
Oh, time away. We haven't had any. We've only had. We've had one weekend. Well, listen, we've got. Hold on. Matt is in training for our time away. Not only building his own channel, but helping us out so that we can get time
All right.
away.
Any plans for new animals on the farm?
Yes.
Okay, that's good enough. Just yes or no. Because there's more questions on that one too.
Yes.
All right. This was a video idea. Same person. You and the boys going to an auction together.
How would you feel like going to an auction? What's your take on auctions?
I mean, I don't even know what that entails. You just sit there and bet on goats or what?
Bid, not B-E-T-B-I-D.
Like, man, that's one good-looking goat. 40, 50.
They parade them out. If you know.
Could you turn that goat around? Oh, there we go. Ooh, 60. Can we answer them like that?
Sure. You just did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
What's that goat like to do? No.
I think I saw that in Goat Simulator 3. That's a game, in case you're wondering. It's a real game.
I would not like to go to an auction. Think that
It'd be a little sad, wouldn't it, to see him up there like, please bet on me.
Yeah,
no, I can't do that.
If I went to buy 2 goats and 8 come out, I'd come home with 8 goats.
That's true.
That's the problem right there. So I'm not a fan of auctions. For me, it's worked out for Chad and for what's our other boy's name? Kyle and Shannon. But if I'm going to get animals, I think we can get them here locally from somebody who's selling them.
They only bought goats, and Chad lost them before they even got to take them home. So
yeah.
Could take half your chickens there.
What?
They went with Chad and bought goats, and Chad took them home on his 20, and they ran off. So Shannon and Kyle never got goats that they bought.
That was a sad ending.
Well, we won't bring that up again.
Man, can't believe we spent $300 at the auction. Where'd they go?
Yeah, really.
Where'd they at?
I don't know.
Chad paid him back. He took them bottled. That's how they got spruce.
Oh, okay. Anyway, no auction for me. I prefer not to go to auction. No.
Okay. I have to laugh at this next one.
Is this for me too?
It's for both of us.
You answer it.
Well, you can't answer it, but I'll ask it. If you were both to choose your favorite book individually, what would it be? I'll answer it. I'm trying to think of the name of the book. I read a lot of Lori Wick books, and probably a lot of you have never heard of that. My mom got me started on that, and they're a kind of a religious romance book. Let's don't confuse that with romance books that other people might read. But what it taught me was there was always a character in Lori Wick's books that was very prayerful. And it taught me how to pray about everything, and the character in the book, there was nothing in that character's life that she didn't pray about. And it was, Mom had the whole series, and I think I have probably read every one of the books probably 3 or 4 times. But there's another lady that I think I'm trying to think of the organization, Proverbs 31 something, that she's a part of, and she writes inspirational books for women and how to, in other words, better yourself and believe in yourself. And she does devotions, and I can't think of her name right now, but anyway, I'll probably post that in a comment. But I like her. It's Terry something. But what's your favorite book, Ralph?
Let me think. Hey, I got it. I don't read.
It's not that you can't read.
When I was younger, teenage-wise, I read Laura Ingalls Wilder books. Loved them. Loved how she described the food on the table and what they made for dinner. And then Hardy Boys Mysteries, Bobbsey Twins. I read detective books. For some reason, after I got out of my teens, somewhere in there, I didn't read.
Yeah.
So I don't read. If it's like a YouTube story or an article that I look something up on, I'll read that. But as far as cracking open a book, no.
I tried to get all of the boys interested, and I think you got burned out because of the AR program in school.
Accelerated reader.
Yeah.
Ruined it.
They had to read, and because of their reading levels, they had to read really hard books because they were burned out on it. Now, I know Chad has read some books, as an adult. He likes a lot of the, what are the guys called? The Robertsons, is it?
Oh, Willie Robertson
Yeah, he likes
and Phil.
those. Yeah, and he has read those. But
Duck Dynasty.
Yeah, Duck Dynasty. But, they're just not readers. But this same person asked, have you ever considered raising sheep?
No, you have to have them sheared. I think if you have goats, you've got sheep. Close enough for me. I don't want to do sheep.
Okay.
Anything
Matt,
anyway.
this one's for you.
Watch out.
Now, she's not hitting on you. She wants you to know that, but she wants to know if you have a girlfriend. She is a 79-year-old grandmother from a small town in Georgia. So, 73. I don't have my glasses on.
Oh, you're good. You're good. You're not hitting on me?
Says
That's
she's
sad.
not.
Okay.
Says she's not. Yeah.
I do not have a girlfriend. I have a Libby, and she'd be very jealous if I had a girlfriend.
Yeah, she would.
Yeah.
Libby would know.
You
Yeah.
have girlfriends. You just
Whoa.
don't have a special. She also has a very special prayer request. She has a 48-year-old daughter who is having open heart surgery January 2nd. She believes in the power of prayer and knows that it works, and she's asking for prayer from the Doss
will
Farms family. So
Definitely be praying for
we
her.
will be. Yes. Okay. Matt, I think this is another one for you. Oh, no. This is Debbie. Debbie was supposed to ask a question. Debbie admits she's asking 3 questions. So are you ready?
Go for it.
Do you think you'll ever own any land and any animals of your own at some point in your life? Now, we've discussed this, so maybe you should explain to Debbie and everybody else about animals and your own land.
Well, it's been a hot topic of debate for I don't know, we've kind of gone back and forth on it, but the thing is, eventually Grandma and Grandpa are probably going to want to maybe relax a little bit more than they do now. So the thought is for me to get a few animals that live here so that way whenever they get to the point where they don't want to necessarily have to go as hard as they're going now, then I could just take that over and I would already be used to the animals and they'd already be used to me, and then I could have some that are already there that are mine, and then they'd have theirs and that kind of thing. So that's kind of still up in the air a little bit, but we've kind of decided for now that if I do get my own animals, it's going to be more of a combined thing than separate land.
If we have animals, when you decide to do your own thing full time, you'll eventually have our animals.
Right. So we're kind of trying to future-proof the plan as far as that.
The animals we have right now are young, and they can all live a minimum of 10 years or longer.
Your LGDs are only not even a year, are they? So,
yeah,
Revan Riley.
So, yeah.
They won't be a year till February 19th.
Yeah.
And we also figure that our best chance of 1 out of 3 of our boys taking care of us in our older years is probably this one right here. So we've got to keep him close.
I got him.
There you go. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Are you going to clean the chicken coop for your dad?
I do it every time. He never does it. What are you guys talking about?
All right. Other than Revel and Riley, what's your favorite animal on your dad's farm? That's still Debbie. Debbie's wanting to make sure you work really hard for your dad.
Well, that answer's changed. I'd probably say, well, we all know that I have a special place in my heart for Batman, R.I.P. Batman, but probably Olivia, because she's ornery like I was. I can always count on her to make the feeding of the pigs interesting. She'd
Is
never.
she the one that bit your shoe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's the one. I explained it in the video that's coming out, that how she plays. I won't explain it now, but yeah, she's got her way of getting more than her normal food.
This is yours, Ralph.
Okay.
Your 3 sons have the best beards, and wondered if you've ever had one. Could you still grow one if you wanted to? Is that a New Year's resolution?
Well, last year they had that No Shave November. They do that every year, and I grew one then, and it was getting not bad. It was bad. It's pretty good. It wouldn't probably ever be like theirs. I'd have to really, but when I wanted to keep it trimmed real close, but I get very claustrophobic when I get the hair,
What?
and I have to get it off. I can't.
I didn't know that
I
was
can't lay
a thing.
down at night and know it's there. I feel it. So plus, it made me look older, and many people commented about it. And when I looked in the mirror, I looked older.
You had a
So-
short on the fireplace. You and I were sitting side by side, and it was Christmas time.
Oh yeah, that's okay. That's right.
Yeah, there's a
Right.
picture of it. Would it still be
Right.
out there on YouTube?
Well, it's always on YouTube forever. So if you want to see me in a beard, go back and watch some. Actually, there'll be some pictures of the video. You know, with video starts of the beard, you can see me in it.
Yeah.
And that's what I would look like right there. And that's as long as I would ever let it get. But no, beards make me look older, and
I've had this beard since 8th grade,
yeah.
just so you know.
I can't remember the boys without beards now, to be honest with you. You
Yeah,
know, but
I
they
can't
they
either.
can all grow. Even Kyle, he keeps his trim. They grow these super thick beards. It's crazy. I don't know where they got it. Not from me.
Chad has the nicest beard, in case anyone's wondering.
Well, yours
No,
is good.
I like them
Yours-
trimmed.
Yeah,
I
but
like 'em
Chad
trimmed.
can just go as long as he
Yeah,
wants.
true.
But they look better trimmed, I think. When you trimmed yours up, it looked a lot better too.
Yeah, it's just high maintenance.
Yeah. Somebody wanted to know if some of the outdoor cats that have been coming around are any of Miss Kitty's other babies.
No. We have that black one with the white feet, and then we have it's the gray one with actually has a lot of white on it. But they were here. The gray and white one was. We thought that was the daddy,
Yeah.
and the black one showed up. But they're huge cats.
The other babies, one of them would look just like baby.
Right,
And then
right.
the other 2 were gray like
Right.
mama.
Right. Yeah.
So-
yeah. And they would be small, even baby. They're small cats.
Yeah.
These two. I don't know if these are males or females. I assume they're males. But no, they're not her kittens.
Yeah. If you travel anywhere, where would you want to go? I know. And I think you've said this too. I don't know if now would be a good time, but Australia.
Oh,
I would
Australia.
love to go to Australia.
Right, I would too. Australia. That'd be
Yeah.
good. We had a meet and greet in Australia.
Well, I think we kind of addressed this, but what kind of animals would you all get? Everybody says y'all. If you look in the comments, everybody says y'all.
Yeah, y'all.
What kind of animals would you get next?
Well, I want 2 goats, but I'm going to get the female. That's the plan right now. And I've talked about the mini donkeys. I still am in love with mini donkeys because they're so affectionate.
Yeah.
And I just, that'd be goats. If we could get by with 1 mini donkey, I might do it, but I'd feel guilty if I just got 1.
I know.
Even though I know there's some channels out there that just have 1 mini donkey. Most of them have 2.
Do worry about the noise they make though. 'cause
Oh,
we
they
already
do. They do
have-
bray. That's a good point too. We're
Yeah.
kind of in a neighborhood, sort of, kind of, in
Yeah.
a way. So we have to watch that. But definitely more goats. We've already got pigs and chickens. There's not a
We
whole.
do have to consider that as far as the neighbors and stuff, because our dogs like to, sleep during the day and bark during the night, and we worry about whether the neighbors can hear. They're not that close, but the dogs really do.
Well, I've asked about the neighbors about the dogs. They don't hear them.
Okay.
We're good.
This guy I think it's a guy, maybe a girl, had asked a question before, and I guess we didn't answer it, but he said I understood. I wanted to know if it's a tornado signal that's outside in the front yard.
Oh, towers, yeah, cell tower. It's been there forever.
But they thought that was awesome because we'd be able to hear it really well. But we don't have any problem hearing he doesn't have any problem hearing the tornado siren because there's still some quite
Over
around.
by the neighborhood, I think,
Yeah.
over there across the street.
What's your fondest memory of each of your sons' Christmas while they were growing up?
Ooh.
I told you I know what mine is. Did you ever come up with one?
Nope, I don't think so. I don't have a memory for individual Christmases. I mean, I looked at ours all.
I don't have individual for each boy, but I remember that you and I left the boys alone for a little while one day. And I think we went to pick something else for Christmas. And we came home and they were all...
Not they all.
No, they
This
all.
was a
Matt
Chad and
remembers.
Kyle. Chad and Kyle. I remember
You know
this
what
very
I'm
well.
talking about?
Yeah, the
Okay.
present thing. I was not involved in that.
Well, we knew that they had done something, but nobody would fess up as to what they had done. So we finally figured it out one day when we had to kind of hide the presents really, really well because they would go looking for them.
Chad and Kyle.
We went and found the presents and we were putting some of them under the tree and we noticed that some of the tape had been removed, and not very well, but it had been removed. And then they tried to put the tape back on the present. But you know, when you remove tape, it also removes some of the coloring off of the paper. So they had unwrapped their presents to see what was in there and then thought they did a really nice job of putting the tape back on them. So we addressed it with them, and of course they denied it, you know, and they said they hadn't gotten in there. So I made a believer out of them and told them that I didn't think they were going to get any presents this year, that they were, you know, they had gotten in and looked at them, and they finally confessed and said that they had. And so I said, well, you're just not getting any then. And they sweated out pretty big time until the day of. And, you know, of course, you know, Santa wasn't going to come to the house. I mean, we laid it on pretty thick and they were pretty upset. But
Wasn't me. I don't have to worry about it.
You didn't even see them do it?
I wasn't a part of it. You can call Kyle or Chad right now and they'll tell you.
You didn't see them do
They
it?
no, they
Where were you?
wisely didn't include me knowing I couldn't keep my mouth shut.
now, we had a pull-down staircase in our walk-in closet that went up to the attic, and that's what they had to do. And not only was the staircase, had it been pulled down, but there was insulation up in the attic that was in the floor of our walk-in closet, and they were still trying to deny it. So we knew they had been up there, and that staircase came down it was pretty heavy. So you weren't in the closet even with them? Okay.
It's clean.
Clean. All right. If they made a film about Grandpa and I, who would you want to have played what actor or actress would you have wanted to play your part, your character?
Superman? What, no? Is he not real?
Oh my.
How about Clint Eastwood?
Yeah,
Tom
you said that.
Selleck. Tom Selleck.
Tom
I
Selleck.
think your better choice is Clint Eastwood.
Clint
You're-
Eastwood?
You'd
Yeah.
have to bring
Yeah, I'm
your,
a pretty big Clint Eastwood fan.
you have to bring your mustache back for Tom Selleck.
That's right. Yeah, true.
You had a good mustache though. That
For
would
like
have been okay.
30 years.
Yeah, it turned gray also, and it went.
People used to ask him if he was a cop. They really
Yeah,
did. They'd
that's
ask if
right.
he was a cop because he had the exact same mustache that all the cops
that was
rock.
I can't
Yeah.
think of anybody for me. I really can't. I've racked my brain. I can't come up with anybody. Doris Day, but she's a little too perky for me.
I don't know who that is.
She was old time, and she was
Yeah.
blonde. We didn't look anything alike. I don't know. I can't think of anybody.
I'd probably think of it when I'm not trying to think of it.
Maybe they will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll name it. You name it. Who would?
Yeah, we'll
Be
let them
Grandma.
make suggestions. All right. Matt, this is for you.
hmm
What animal has captured your heart and you would want to get if and when you have your own land, which, you know, you can just pretend you would get them and put them on our farm. And is there any animal that you would have thought that you would never have bonded with?
I'd probably say Olivia. The thing about it is, because I was reading the second question, is the goats surprised me. I didn't think I'd ever like goats. You know, if you've never been around a goat before and you're just a spectator, you don't want to get near them. They have horns and they hit each other, and you're like, hey, I'm not getting anywhere near that. But then you get close to them and they end up just being another dog with horns, and they want nothing to do with hitting you. Maybe you have a bad goat out there, but we got some good goats. So I'd probably say goats surprise me the most. I would definitely get some goats because it's like getting a couple dogs.
All right, what are our Christmas traditions? Do we have the typical meal, and do we do a secret Santa for gift exchange? Christmas traditions, that's pretty easy because what?
You know. Yeah.
We can all pitch in on
Okay.
this. Christmas traditions have always been, of course, you know, Santa came when the kids were younger. That was, you know, something they woke up to. And then as you got older, you know, Santa didn't come see you, but
Christmas tradition to me, if you go back to when we were first married, even before, and we would have the big, your side of the family Christmases and ours. Then after we're married, you know, same thing, and you just, you know, you split your time just like everybody does. Well, we got to go here, we got to go there, and then, you know, then we started doing it when, even after Dad passed, we'd go to Mom's. Then after, you know, then now it's here.
yeah.
But we always do that, and open presents, you know, just nothing out of the ordinary that millions of people don't do. You know,
And we
same-
never
same
did it
thing.
on Christmas Eve. It was always Christmas morning.
Yes, it's always Christmas morning.
And we always had to be at your folks
Right.
bright and early. And we
Oh,
had to
man.
stand out on the porch, even if it was below
Oh,
zero.
that's right.
Yeah, we had to be
Because
on
Santa
the porch.
Claus came, so we couldn't just go in and
That's
see
right.
stuff. That's right. We all had to see it at the same time. That's right.
And with your side of the family, we didn't do Secret Santa, but we did like, well, we used to buy for everybody, and that got kind of tough. And we were the first ones to kind of bail on that a little bit, and you know, then everybody else kind of figured out that it was too much, and so then we
yeah,
did
when you
names.
hit 18 years old,
yeah,
No more presents.
You
for
were
me.
out.
yeah.
You know, you were
Now-
out. So, but yeah, we're a lot of traditional.
Yeah.
You know,
I just remember me and Kyle, whenever I was like 10 or 11, we lived at your parents' house after your grandpa passed. And we used to stay up all night Christmas Eve. We couldn't sleep. We took this Nerf ball and we threw it back and forth in this room, in our rooms all night. But anyway, your dad had an intercom system. And me and Kyle, when we finally would separate rooms for like an hour, it'd be like 4 a.m, we would talk to each other on this intercom system, and it was tripping out your touch lamp. Do you remember? It was turning on the lamp in
What?
your room. The
do
wiring was
Really?
old.
Really?
And you came in there and you were like, either there's a ghost in the house.
is that right?
You came down and you were like, you figured it out somehow. You were like, I think you guys are tripping my light.
Really?
That was on Christmas Eve.
I don't remember that.
I remember that. You came in there. You weren't mad at all. You were just laughing. You were like, man, it took me forever to figure out why this
man.
light kept coming on in my bed.
Wow.
And then you were like, all right, guys, well, you have like 2 hours before we open presents, so try to get at least 30 minutes of sleep.
That's pretty
yeah.
funny. I didn't remember that.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Matt. This is a question. Does Matt like older, animal-loving Australian women?
Good day, mate. What? Is that how you say it?
And then she says, seriously, I'm sending Aussie snacks.
Yes, I'm looking forward to getting that because somebody put in. I read that comment, that question. Somebody put in right after that Tim Tams or something.
Yeah.
Tim Tams. And
Yeah, I
send
don't
them
know
some
what it
Tim
is, but
Tams or whatever.
yeah.
Right. So we're getting
I'm
some
looking forward to it too.
Yeah,
I've
me
never
too.
had any of that.
I'm a big fan of kangaroo jerky. Beef jerky? Didn't they have kangaroo
Have you
jerky
had
there?
it?
No.
What?
Yeah, we have beef jerky here. Surely they have kangaroo jerky
Oh my
there.
word!
It's probably a
I do
little
not
tougher.
know. I don't know. Kangaroo. I don't know. Sorry. Okay.
This is another Matt.
Surely that's on the shelf in
This
Australia.
is another Matt question. I think you've already answered it, though. Will you be getting animals to put on DOS farms? You've already answered that.
Kangaroos.
Okay, now, Matt, this is another question. Please tell us some of the funny stories of the boys while they were growing up. I figured you could probably tell some of those better than anybody.
I have to be careful. They can still beat me up.
How about telling what your brothers did, ringing doorbells and got you in trouble?
That was my fault.
How was that your fault? They put you up to ringing the doorbells.
No, that was all me.
Is that Halloween or just doing it?
I was just doing it. I rang the same person's doorbell because ringing doorbells and running was popular when I was a kid. There was no internet, so we were, yeah. So I rang the same doorbell with this girl I went to school with, and on the 5th night that I did it, she had an older brother, and he was a grade older than me, and he was 2 grades older, she was 1 grade older, and as soon as I rang it, 2 cop cars pulled on the road. And I learned how fast I was, which was very fast, because I hauled Booty across the street, and I ran down to this creek that we all knew super well because when Mom and Dad built houses growing up, they built them in the same area. So we basically hung out in the same woods that we always hung out in. So I knew these woods better than any cop could ever imagine. And I managed to run down the creek side through this place we used to build forts and then run up this road that you guys put in. And I was able to escape, but as soon as I walked in, Chad was like, hey, I was walking around looking for you, and two cops, one of the cop cars approached Chad and said, hey, who are you? Who are you looking for? Blah, blah, blah. And he goes, I'm looking for my little brother. He's running around here. And the cop said to him, well, if you don't find him before we do, he's going to juvie. And I was already upstairs eating Wendy's in my room by this time, so I wasn't worried about it. They never caught me.
Didn't you crawl out the window and sit on the roof for a while?
I was grounded. You can't ground me. I also figured out I could jump off one of the corners of the roof and land safely, so I could get in and out of my room pretty easy.
How'd you get back in once you jumped out?
Front door.
The boys?
Oh, you only have to wait till 8 o'clock and they're in bed. Literally.
Is that even back then?
Yes. They've always gone to bed so early you could get away
Maybe
with
this rock and talk, maybe this wasn't such a good idea.
This is turning into confession
I'm
time.
getting stories here that maybe I don't want to know.
We have learned a lot more since, the boys have grown up. They tell us stories now and we're like, we don't want to know.
Right.
Folks,
we don't want to know.
If you have 3 boys, all within 2 years of each other in age, they're going to do a lot of things that you're unaware of. Just warning you right now. That brotherhood can be very mischievous, and they are somewhat good at keeping secrets. A lot. You guys knew a lot of stuff we did, though.
We've learned a lot since then.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
You've handled it well, though. Great parents. Best parents ever.
Next question.
I was thinking of another one, but yeah, we'll probably. What advice would you give someone who's wanting to start a farm?
Depends on where you live. A lot of people, chickens. I think you can have chickens like in a neighborhood. There's like if you have an HOA or something,
Can't
chickens.
have a rooster, but you can have chickens.
Yeah, you may not be able to have a rooster, but if you want something simple, easy to take care of, I recommend chickens. You do goats and pigs and all that. You can see what I have to do physically and the things they have to eat, watch what they eat. With chickens, it's not as restrictive. We're not going to alpacas and all that. I know for cows, they can eat grass and all that, but you've got to. That's a big animal.
You've got to have enough land for what you want to. I mean, we would probably have other animals too if we had more land. And I know that we could probably lease like Chad did, but we're not real comfortable with leasing more land, and there's a big responsibility there. And
sorry, I didn't mean
no,
to.
go ahead.
There's a difference between farms, like Chad has steer and cattle and alpacas, like you guys said, and the vibe here is much more pets and homesteading and hanging out. And so when we talk about getting animals, we talk about ones that we can, just like the ones we have, where you can bring anybody over, a stranger or not, and they can just go out and pet P-Dub or Fox or the dogs.
That's what we want. So it's a petting zoo here.
Yes.
And we're not harvesting or selling or anything like that. So we just want to hang out with the animals, and it's been fascinating, getting to know goats and their mannerisms and how friendly they can be, and even the pigs and the chickens. But if you're going to, it's kind of hard. We'll be 3 years in April. Now, I helped Chad before that, but we really didn't start a farm.
Yeah.
We didn't start a farm. We got all these things. Fortunately, I had been taking care of them, so I kind of knew the ropes. But yeah, there's still a lot to learn. So
I think the advice I would want to give is you have to kind of be prepared that you're going to lose some too. That was something that, we knew that Chad was going to harvest some of them for food. That's what most people do that have a homestead. We personally can't do that. We're just not used to that. We're not against it. I mean, I absolutely understand, but we just personally can't do that. But never thought about the fact that you're going to lose some to disease, and you may not know why. That's the hard thing. I think the hardest thing that I went through was not realizing that a mother cat, would take away her babies and not bring them back. I mean, that was just devastating. And you have to be prepared for that kind of stuff, and I wasn't. I just, so you got to be prepared if you're going to start a farm to also take the good with the bad.
True. True.
Okay. What would you have done differently had you had all girls and granddaughters instead of boys?
Been a lot happier.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
Well, you can't miss what you never had.
Yeah.
I mean, we have nieces.
Yeah.
But my standard joke when we used to hunt for toys and all that never went down. If the aisle was pink, I didn't have to go down there.
Well, and when we bought Christmas for the nieces and all, I had to call.
I had no clue.
I had no clue what to buy them.
No.
And I thought when we had children, I thought, I don't know what to do with little boys. I'd never been around boys. And a part of me thought, I'll never be close to little boys. I don't think little boys are close like mothers and daughters are. But I got to tell you.
All three of our boys are mama's boys.
I can't imagine not. I mean, I'm as close to these boys, I believe, probably closer to them than I would have been to girls, because I know that mothers and daughters fight. I mean, my mom and I had a time that, when you first become a teenager, you think you're smarter than your mother and you want your independence. And I didn't go through that with the boys,
Well, I think the boys, too, are easier to meet for clothing, buying, jeans and T-shirts and, things like that. I'm just saying, I don't know,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right. How did you all meet, meaning you and I?
Church. It's
Yep.
a church deal. We kind of talked about it before.
Yeah, but these are probably new
Leanne
subs.
was putting on not a play, what do you call it?
Musical.
A musical.
Yeah.
And my best friend talked me into, for some reason, going and being in this thing. And I'm going, okay. So we went in and, I remember sitting in the pews or something, and you came out from behind the curtain, kind of like the Wizard of Oz type thing. And
I think you dreamed that. There was no curtain.
and you came out from behind the piano or something, walked up there, and I was I was immediately
White light was behind Mom.
Yeah, I was immediately infatuated. So,
I walked upstairs on a stage
yeah.
where there was a piano.
Yeah. So anyhow, it was purely physical attraction at first. That's all I can say.
They're lying. They met on Tinder. Can't believe them. Hey,
I think
Ralph.
though,
What
actually, I saw you before that at a Halloween. We had the big. Remember we had the spook house at at church. It was a church deal, by the way. But we had a spook house at church, and I was working the spook house, and I had to go through this graveyard scene, and I didn't know it was you at the time. A girl came toward me in a cop outfit. It was her. It was Mom.
I really did work for the police
Yeah,
department
she did.
as a teenage reserve officer, whatever you call it. We rode with the police, but we weren't commissioned to carry guns or anything like that.
Well, Mom's dad was a cop.
Yeah.
Just to explain.
Reserve,
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
reserve
No,
officer.
Grandpa was a cop.
Yeah, reserve.
Reserve.
Oh, I thought he was a cop.
Well, a reserve officer was a cop, but he was not. Yeah, that was not his real job. But he worked on weekends as a reserve police
Right.
officer.
Well, so I remember seeing you. I don't know how we figured out that was you. Maybe we at some point talked about it, but I didn't know you at the time. We kind of figured that out later on.
Mom was an upper class woman.
She's
older.
2 years ahead of me in school, and she's
man.
11 months older.
Man, watch out.
Yeah, I know.
Man.
I know. She was accused of robbing the cradle. That's another story.
Oh man, 2 grades is
Another
that ain't
story.
robbing
She used to
the
come to the
cradle.
high school. She was in college. She'd come to the high school and bring me lunch. Man, I thought I was such a stud.
I was called a cougar, and I didn't even know what that meant.
She's a cougar. Had this older woman coming to bring me lunch. It was pretty cool. Yeah, lot going on there. All right, next question.
All right.
That's another day.
I can answer these.
Okay.
Favorite food only eaten during holiday season. My mom had a cheese ball recipe, and I loved the cheese ball, and I still make it. And the person who eats more than I do now of my cheese ball is Rayanne, Chad's wife. All right. Have you ever invited non-family members, or is it for family only? Back when I was growing up, my mom and dad took foster children, and they had an emergency foster care, and they were the first ones that got called anytime that we had, kids that were picked up like on Christmas Eve or whatever due to really bad circumstances. And My mom would start shopping for Christmas stuff in January. When everything went on sale, my mom picked up stuff for just all kinds of stuff, sizes, and we primarily took in girls. And above our washing machine, washer and dryer in my mom and dad's house was boxes of just clothes that mom would pick up, and she knew shorthand, and she would write in shorthand what was in these boxes. She didn't know who they were going to, but everything was in boxes, just stacked. And a lot of times they would get a call on Christmas Eve or a couple of days before Christmas, and it would be for somebody that needed to be placed in emergency care. Well, sometimes it'd be 4 children. We had one Christmas where there were 4 children, 3 little boys and a little girl. So we had kids that primarily it was kids would be there on Christmas Eve or for Christmas Day, and mom would have to hurry and try to find things that would fit them. So we did have kids that were there. We've never had anybody on our Christmases that were not family members. And honestly, I probably would not do that with our kids. It was very disruptive. I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's very hard to put a Christmas together at the last minute. I admire my parents that they were able to do that, but we pretty much stick with it. You know, I mean, we would never say never. We would never turn somebody away if they really, really needed help, but we've never done it.
Well, I don't recall anybody that we've been close to or near to that we would ever.
We've never had that situation.
Never had a situation where
Yeah.
somebody needed to come somewhere. You know, maybe I
Yeah.
didn't look for it, but
Yep.
no, it's primarily a family. So
Yep. Favorite Christmas story? That would have to be the one out of the Bible. That would be my favorite. And, you know, and you can get it out of all 4 Gospels and get a little bit different version of, you know, Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus being born, but that obviously would be my favorite. So, anything else?
no,
Okay. Any tips that you can give on how to be a good mother-in-law? I tell you
I got
what,
this one. No, I'm kidding.
I had, beyond a shadow of a doubt, the best mother-in-law on the face of this earth. My mother-in-law was an amazing lady, and I don't even know what to say. She was an angel. She was always supportive. She was very loving. She just, no matter what the circumstances were, she just was an amazing person. And, you know, she, to her dying day, I'm going to cry, but she was incredible. And I only hope that I can do half the job that she did. So,
You're doing awesome. What are you talking about?
well, she just amazed me.
She's also the reason why all of us are funny.
Yeah,
She
is.
had the best sense of humor.
She had the best sense of humor.
I
but-
can't tell some of the jokes, but she would tell as kids on. Can I say the name of the road you grew up on?
Oh yeah.
Okay, Byers, because we don't live there anymore. But anyway, we always called it Byers, the house on Byers, and she would come through there and whisper like something about one of you guys in our ears, like a funny criticism. And she loved doing it. It wasn't ever anything bad, but I can't repeat some of it, but it was just so funny the way she did it. I tell you, that is the reason why all of us, I feel like, and you guys too, but like it passed down from, but she just was so quick. She was very
Well,
quick-witted.
And I have to say, she was a good Christian woman.
Oh, yeah.
She was a good Christian. She was so funny because she would talk for the animals. I think that's where all of us got it. I think that's where Kyle got the voices. If she heard one of the boys, and usually it was Ralph, if she would hear him say something that she didn't feel like was appropriate to me, if he would get on me or if he would say something that she didn't feel like was, she would just lay into him. And I mean, everybody laughed about it, that's how she was. And she would turn around to me occasionally and she would say, "You go tell him," and then she'd tell me what to tell him. But she had this thing about being in her kitchen because her kitchen was real small. And we never went to our own homes and had her in our home. She wanted to be in her home, and that's where we cooked. But we weren't allowed in her kitchen. She'd tell us, she'd shoo us out of there. But when it came time to do the dishes or whatever, we would shoo her out and we would tell her to go in the other room, and us girls would get in there and we would do the dishes and clean up. And I think she really loved and respected us for that, But even after she moved into the basement of Billy and Pam's home, we would make her leave. The kitchen was a part of the family room, and we would make her go sit down and we would, help with the food and the dishes and all that. And, she was just a really, really, really wonderful mother-in-law. And the next part of that question was, how do I minister to Shannon and to Ray different? I don't know that I necessarily minister to them differently. They are both different people, but the one thing that I don't do, and both girls know this, I don't, if there's any feuding or fussing or arguing or whatever, I don't get involved in the fights or in the fusses, or because, you know, that's something that I feel like the kids have to work out. They have to work through, and I won't take sides. But I've always joked about this, and it's true. I've told all of them, and I tell them, you know, look, I love the girls, and I love them as daughters, not daughter-in-laws, but as daughters. And, you know, I make jokes and say, look, you mess around and upset her, and I'm keeping her and getting rid of you, you know, because, you know, marriage is a two-way street. It's a tough job sometimes, but I respect the girls, and I respect how tough it is sometimes to be a wife. And I know my boys, and I know how they can be sometimes. And if I hear them talk to the girls where I don't think they're being respectful, I'm going to point it out to them. I'm not going to do it in front of the girls, but I may talk to them, you know, aside from the girls. And I just want them to learn to be respectful of the girls and to treat them the way I think the wives should be treated. So I don't know that that really answers your question, but I just feel very strongly about that because I have a lot of respect for both Ray and for Shannon. And, you know, I think the boys are good husbands, and I think that, you know, they have good relationships. But I just had a really good example from my mother-in-law, and I want to be that good too. So
That's why I stay single. So I don't get kicked out of the family, and you guys keep the daughter-in-law.
There you go.
Okay, Matt, this is for you, but basically it's letting you know that they want a video from you away from the farm, which basically you gave them that when you did the Libby video. Your very first video was taking Libby on a walk.
Away from the farm, huh?
Away from the farm.
We'll have to come up with something for that.
They want to know more about you and what you do, you know, when you're not with us.
What are you doing when you're not with us?
It's the most exciting life, guys. The most exciting life you've ever lived.
What are you going to do tonight when you go home?
Watch football.
And work out.
Hang out with Libby and watch football and work out, and then make a frozen pizza.
He doesn't
play
party.
games.
He's not a club-going guy. He doesn't go to all these different places and all that. He's just
B to the O-ring.
well, it's not boring. You're just, you know, you have a good lifestyle.
You like to work out.
He likes to work out. Likes his, yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, well, I just started working out again, so we'll see how that goes.
Will you and Grandma start doing more vacations and long weekends now that Matt is able to
We've
handle?
answered that.
No.
Animals? Okay.
We've already answered that on that.
Somebody wants to know if we'll do a meet and greet, and preferably with the entire family.
Boy, that would be, to pull that off would be something else, because, you know, first of all, where do you go? It'd be tough to do a meet and greet. What we're more likely to do, they have events around the country, and we would just say, hey, you know, next September, August, June, whatever it is, we would just go there, because a lot of people that watch us, they're all over the country.
Yeah.
You know, so we would try to pick the most centralized maybe and go there, and then, just, you know what I mean? That's what we would do, but nothing individual.
Okay. How long?
We have had people pass through and say, hey, just twice, you know, if you're passing through or something like that, and say, hey, we're coming, you know, whatever, we're going to be, you know, we've met them before, had a good time, so.
How long have you lived where you are right now? It'll be.
It was 4 years. It was 4 years in October.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Yep.
Can each of you share a favorite or a memory of a special or silly Christmas gift? We were doing engagement pictures, and we were dressing up. So I got him a suit, and I put it on a mannequin that I borrowed from a place that we had both worked, and wrapped it up in a box, and he unwrapped it, and, you know, it was kind of funny because he sees this mannequin in there.
Huge box.
Yeah.
Big box.
And gave it to him for Christmas.
Yes, really surprised. We got pictures of that.
We did.
That's before we married. That's when I was wearing flannel and had long hair.
Yep, I did
Cool.
find some pictures the other day when I was in the shed looking for Christmas decorations, but I'm still trying to find our wedding pictures and stuff, and I'd like to do all that all at the same time. I was going to try to do it for this
You
one.
need to find those because
I know.
people need to see what
Yep.
was going
So.
on back in the 70s.
Oh, somebody wants to know which goat do you think
What do
is
you got,
going to
Mary?
take over the goat in charge spot?
P-Dub and is more the aggressor, but they get along very well. They don't, it's not like Fox is afraid to get near him. They're buddy-buddy. They
They're
lay
very
beside one
buddy.
another. When they're in the port hut, they lay beside one another. There's really no, when you watch them come up and get treats, Fox does not back off one bit. It's every man for himself. In fact, Fox most of the time will be more aggressive coming to get the animal crackers. So yeah, there's no hierarchy there really.
No.
And they're brothers, by the way. You all know that they're brothers.
Fox is the talker and P-Dub is the enforcer.
Right.
Fox wants to stand there and and just make noises while
Constantly.
P-Dub's like, yeah, you tell him, Fox.
Yeah.
Let him know what
Got
we're
your back,
thinking.
brother.
Yep.
Which of the puppies is now the boss dog?
I've seen a bit of, you know what, folks, honest to goodness, if you're here 7 days a week, it goes both ways. They were out there today and she's laying outside, he's eating. I'm back, the video that you saw yesterday, there's really, it's a shared thing. It kind of comes and goes. And when they argue, fuss, and fight, sometimes she gets the better of him and he gets the better of her, and there you go. So, can't say that.
This one has 3 questions and it's for you, but part of these have been asked, so I'm just going to.
For me?
Yeah, I'm just going to ask the one that has not been. Do you miss your work?
Oh, my old job? No. I miss the camaraderie with the guys, but as far as the stress and pressure of that job, not at all. Not at all. They know, you said it best one time, my quality of time off was not great. So even whenever I was trying to relax and blah, 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 all I was thinking about was what I was going to go back to. And, I won't get into a lengthy answer, but that was a demanding job. And it kind of dominated our conversations for 5 years, and it's nice that now we're hanging out and we're talking about the things that we want to talk about and the things that naturally come to our mind versus that. So as far as missing the job itself, no, but I still hang out with quite a few of the guys I used to work with, so I shouldn't say I just miss the camaraderie, but no
right.
is the answer, no.
Right.
I'm enjoying this a lot. So.
Are you getting it? You've already answered whether we're getting a doe or a wether.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Out of the boys and girls, meaning sons and daughter-in-laws, who's the better tractor driver?
Me.
Oh, Matt by far.
I'm the best.
Yeah, Matt by far.
Are there any tractor games planned for the summer?
Yeah, we have 2 now. Till I sell that one, so yeah.
No, he's not selling that one. It's mine.
We'll have a tractor off.
I'm taking the governor off the small one. I'm going to
Tractor
win.
off.
I'm going to win.
Yeah, I think you have to go with experience. I think Chad and Kyle are better tractor drivers than me. They have way more hours on the tractor. So yeah, it's a time on OG, on the job training type thing. So yeah, they got to be. I give the nod to those 2 right now.
Please tell us where Batman and Smokey are buried.
Batman is at Kyle and Shannon's. He's in a little shaded area. Smokey is out in the woods here at the house. I did that for Batman because he was a big fella. I dug by hand.
Next
Smokey's,
question.
and that was very difficult, really super difficult. A lot of, and I when it came to Batman, Kyle said, "Hey, Dad," I said, "Man, son," So that's how we did it. I don't feel that was a disservice to Batman whatsoever.
No.
He's so. Yeah, that's
R.I.P.
that's where Smokey's here and Batman is there, and there we
What's the number one goal that you want to reach in 2024?
As far as what, YouTube?
As far
Farm?
as anything, not necessarily YouTube.
I'm always looking to improve. I'm always looking to. I'm not really ever satisfied with the way things are. I'm not necessarily looking to grow bigger. Well, we're all going to get the other area. I take that back. But I just want to improve quality of life for the animals all the time. Through the winter, it's a little bit difficult, but come summertime, whatever I can do to clear a bigger spot for the goats or, let the chickens expand in their area over here. I mean, I've already done that. So whatever it takes to make the animal's life better is that's a goal for 2023 as far as the farm goes. 2024, beg your pardon, 2024, you know. How about you? Are you?
Mine is, and this is a question coming up, mine is to free up time. And, you know, I have let go of several clients, and I have thought I had freed up some time, but I'm still very, very tied to my job, and I have to basically retire, with the exception of one client that I am going to stick with until the executive director there retires. She and I have agreed that until she leaves, I'm going to stay with her. So I just need to be able to focus more on YouTube and editing, and I need less pressure and stress, and that's where I need to back off of a lot of hours.
I want to answer that one too.
Okay.
My 2024 goal is to help with those 2024 goals. I want to get better with the farm, help Mom with the accounting side, so that I can help Mom ramp down and retire from her current job, and then that way we can all focus on and do what we're doing now with YouTube. But you know, that I would say that's my 2024 goal, is to help you guys get to that point. That's why I wanted to join. Whenever I left my old job, that was all part of the plan, was to me to help with Mom and Dad so that they could kind of, you know, take vacations and stuff and not have to worry about the animals and have somebody available and all that. So I just want to say that.
Well, that's very well said, by the way. That is that's a big deal. You know, if I was 55 or 50 or, you know,
I wouldn't help
then you know, you could, yeah. You know, there would be an amped up work, right? I mean, you're still working toward retirement, but now being 65, you know, you're not ramping things up necessarily, even though physically we've both been very blessed to be able to go out. I can take care of the animals, I can build a fence, I can do all those things. But who knows what at 70, who knows what at 75, you know? I mean, that's so therefore, you know, that's why I'm not going to build these buildings and, you know, all these. Whoops, almost fell out of my chair forward. You know, I'm not going to. That's not the goal of any year, you know. And I'm not saying I'm slowing down, but that's where Matt comes in. If one day, 5 years from now, 6, 10 years from now, I go, hey, you know, I'm really, you know, he's probably going to be doing a whole lot more between now and then.
Yes.
Period. You know, and who knows? I don't know what land will come available around here. We just don't know. So, yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of here to allow you guys to. That way, that nothing has to be set in stone. You can do as much as you want, and then whenever you don't want, you got me.
Exactly.
Well, and you worked for me before you took that other job 5 years ago.
Best boss ever.
I don't think I realized. I mean, you worked for me, and one of my sister-in-laws worked for me, and when you both went different directions, you know, it all of a sudden I thought I could do this by myself, and you know, the load just became more than I could handle, and so I started letting loose of some clients, but I still, you know, and I don't want it to get back that way. I want you to help, but I don't want to feel like, okay, now, you know, I don't need to let go of anybody because Matt's helping me. I don't want it to get that way. We still got to work towards getting both of us out of it. So
yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, I appreciate the help.
Yeah, I hope some of my training is still somewhere in my brain.
It will. Ralph, are you still going to the gym? And if so, is Leanne going with you too?
Yes and no. 5 days a week.
All right. When will Grandma retire, and will she start her own channel? I can answer that. No, I will not start my own channel. I was never comfortable in front of the camera, even with him, and without him, there is no way I could be in front of the camera. I'm going to answer this question because she asked it very honestly, and it was not to be judgmental. She was just curious. She wanted to know why Kyle buried Batman at Shady Acres instead of on our farm. And Ralph has already kind of answered that. He said because it took a bigger area. We have a lot of rocks here, and there wasn't a good place to bury him. But another part of that was that came very unexpectedly. And Kyle had been with Ralph at the vet and had gone home. And I happened to be here with Ralph. And honestly, I could not have helped him at all. It would have been very, very difficult, and it was a very emotional time. And we both sat in there for a little bit, and I asked him, I said, what are we going to do? You know, I just knew that there wasn't any way. And he said, Kyle offered to come take him. And I said, let's do that. And we called Kyle. There was no hesitation. And Kyle said, I'm on my way. Mm-hmm. And it was such a relief. It really was. It was extremely helpful to us. And we knew that Kyle would do it right, and he did, and it just really, really helped both of us. It meant a lot to us. And
yeah, it was a
Shannon sent the video later to just me so that I could, you know, show it to him when the time was right. We kind of had to get through the evening, and it just meant a lot. And it meant a lot that they did the video. It was something that I don't know that we could have done, to be honest.
Yeah,
so
it's tough.
Anyway, thank you for asking. So, okay, what type of church do we attend? I think you've already answered this, and we're not going to give the name of the church. We are Southern Baptist. You answered that, I thought, very well.
It's got to be a Bible believing. There's no additions, no subtractions. It is what it is, and so pretty hard line about that. But
we don't believe we're the only people going to heaven, but
no,
you know, there are certain things that God has made very clear in the Bible,
that's right.
And
That's right.
Okay. How did we meet? We've already told that. How long did we date before we got married?
About 2.5, 3 years. About 3 years. I think 3 years. I think something like that. 3 years.
Yep. Oh, this is a prayer request. This is a lady from Susquehanna Valley area in south central Pennsylvania. She's presently in the hospital dealing with a fluid buildup from lymphedema, and is asking for prayer. Her name is Thelma. She's 78. So Thelma, we will be praying for you.
Yes.
And I'm hoping, this was a few days old, I'm hoping by now she's out of the hospital. But if you're not, and even if you are, we'll still pray for you, Thelma. Are you planting a large garden this year?
I've got 15 raised beds. Last year I had, 81 ears of corn. I had more tomatoes than the pigs could eat, and more than I could eat. I think we had 40 zucchini. I'm going to go with the same amount of space. I mean, if you're, with that 2 tomato plants, we had 4, I think, way too many tomatoes. So I'm even going to scale back a little further because I got to get the watermelon down. We had pumpkins were okay. We can do the pumpkins, and I got to lay things out a little differently. I realize now there's got to be a different logistic layout, and it's taken. This will be the fourth year.
Third, I think.
Yeah, it's taken that long. Some things I've got down: the fertilization, what I do, how to get them to grow. But yeah, I'm gonna have a garden. No greenhouse. Didn't need
no
it.
One's happier than the pigs.
Didn't need
eat
it.
garden.
Yeah,
they love when you bring
well,
down.
mix in with their diet.
Yeah.
They want to know if Matt has any interest in gardening or any experience.
Yeah,
Matt?
I don't have any gardening experience.
That's your final answer, right? All right, we'll move on. Does that say lung cancer?
Yes.
Okay, and that's Donna.
Yep.
Donna is having lung cancer surgery the 27th and has asked for prayers. So that's another one that we want to add to our prayer list. Lung cancer surgery on the 27th. So that's coming up. Somebody wants to know how Riley is doing. Riley's doing very well. She's not been on Rimadol now for
4 months, 5.
Yeah, she's
5
doing
months.
great. So that's really all the questions that we have.
Thank you all very much for joining us. I hope you learned a little more about us today. I'm sure there's a lot of questions we didn't get to. There's probably some personal things that folks ask and we couldn't really address. 54 questions. I tell you what, if y'all stay awake through that, good job. Good job. There were a couple of bloopers in there that we can't show because Matt got totally out of control.
That's what I do.
I didn't have any part of it.
Sorry.
So,
You started it.
Huh? I did?
Yes.
That first laugh.
Well, I could have kept it. I could have kept it going. I could have kept it going, but see, and here, let me tell you something right now. See, Grandma and the 4 boys, sometimes things get a little out of hand, and Grandma, she's mom. So we
I'm a stick in the mud.
so we have to sometimes not say everything that's on our minds. Or
Somebody's got to keep it together.
somebody's got to keep it together, and that's
Grandma.
mom. So anyhow, we really appreciate y'all watching so much, and are very thankful for each one of our Grandpa Doss Farm family members.
We'll
Are
leave
we
that
good?
blooper in.
Yeah, leave that blooper in. So, and we appreciate you watching all of our family. As so many of you say that in your comments, you watch all of us and you pray for us. We are so blessed. I'm done.
All right.
We hope that we made your day a little brighter. We truly did want to be a part of your Christmas. We hope that maybe a little bit of humor came into your home today. We hope that we shared some things with you and got some questions answered.
Yep. We love you.
Yep.
Stay safe.
God
Merry
bless you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And until next time.
Till next time, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.